All right, Lazar, here we go. Here is your board member SharePoint site. And what I want to talk to you about with this is that SharePoint is more than just a place to put your files up online and store them so they can be shared with other people. SharePoint is actually a workspace, a shared workspace that you and your team members can um, work. And SharePoint is supposed to be built not around what your files are, but SharePoint is supposed to be built around what your process is and what your activities are. So you build activities into a web page. And it matches up your resources, which would be your files, your documents, your pictures, whatever else you have. Those resources get paired up with your activities, and you as a group get to use it. So SharePoint's a nice place that matches your resources with the activities um, that you use those resources for, and it allows you and your group to do it. That's the point with SharePoint, and this is the first chance that we've had to actually use SharePoint in that regard. And so let me give you a demonstration as to how this works. This is your board site for SharePoint, and if you notice right up here, you get a little icon. This is for your board members. It's a private group, so only people who are invited to this page, the SharePoint page, get to view it. Currently, you have 6 members who are invited to this page. You have you, Sharon, me for some reason, Barry, Leslie, Wendell. Each of these people belongs to a group. They have a rank or a role that they play with regard to this page, and then those groups, those user groups, have certain permissions. Owners can do everything. Members can only view. They can't edit or change. Right now we're logged in as you, so we can do everything that we need to do. Here's your SharePoint page. This is entirely editable, and it's broken up into a couple different sections. I've got this section here, this section here, this section here, and a blank section here. We can add more sections down below, as well as our navigation section on the far left. This section here I chose to do as a news section, so as you do new announcements or any new information that you want to broadcast to your team that goes to this particular SharePoint page, you can do it here. Here's a new announcement, SharePoint boundary, pushing boundaries, new board member site. Here's what it looks like. You click on it, it takes you to a page, gives you a little graphic, types your or gives you your information here that you post. It's pretty easy to do this. You put a picture up here, you can fill in this text here, and then of course you fill in the text here as the body of your announcement. It's that easy to make new announcements, and once you post them up, they show up here as new news announcements here. This is not necessary. It's something to have, which is kind of nice, but it's not required. Here's another section over here. This is web links. If you have web links that are part of your process, if you and your board members go to a lot of web pages and have a lot of web resources, it's a nice idea to put some of these up here. Right now I've got the Pushing Boundaries site. If there are websites that are devoted to nonprofit organizations, if there are websites that are devoted to physical therapy and rehab organizations, you can put them up here. Again, not necessary, but something you can do. Here's something that is pretty nice that you'll probably want to take advantage of, and this is a group calendar. This particular group called Board, all of you guys, all 6 of you are members of this board group, and if we create any events in the board group's calendar, it'll show up here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is your Outlook. Sorry, I'm in your Outlook. I can get into your Outlook here. Here is all of these groups that you're a member of. And one of those groups is board, okay? And you'll notice the dark green color that corresponds with the dark green color in the calendar. And there's that something special. If I wanted to create a new event, this is the web-based Outlook, but you can do this in your desktop-based Outlook as well. And we'll do this bathroom cleaning. We're going to set this on the 22nd, and we're going to do it at 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. because there's no better time to clean the bathroom other than 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. We can add a little description here. And we just have to make sure that we put this in the board calendar. Again, the color changes. It's in the board calendar. It's a board event. We hit save. come back to our board page here. Here's the calendar for the board members. Let's sync and update it, and boom. So you can create events in your Outlook for this particular group called board, and we can make it show up here on the website. So as your board members come here as a central place for all of their board member processes and board member activities, they can see a web page that shows them their event calendars and any meetings that they may have. This will also show up in their Outlook as well. So it's not only up here on the web page, it's in their Outlook as well because they are members of this board group. We've already talked about, and you already know about how you have document libraries. For example, here's a document library of your financial information, all of these files and folders. You have access to this stuff. So do they as board members. If I get this correct, I'm pretty sure that they have access to view it, but they do not have access to edit or change it. You've got 99% of the stuff up as PDFs anyway, so they're not going to be able to do it. But I found... what did I find? I found something in here that was a Word document. And when I opened it up under one of the other user accounts, it was read-only. It could not be edited. They can download it to their computer, but even then, if they're logged in as anything other than somebody approved to view and edit this document, they're not going to be able to edit it. They can download it. They just can't edit it. So that's about the best I can do with that. Additionally, we can create sub-sites. So here's the primary site, and then of course here's a sub-web page under this site. And this one is called Board Members Directory. I just came up with something that we can do. Again, we provide a little graphic. Here is a list of all of the board members. SharePoint lists are pretty useful tools. It gives you a chance to put data like this up on a SharePoint site. This is basically an Excel spreadsheet, as it were, up on your SharePoint site. And let me give you an idea what that looks like. Board members. Here's a list of the board members that we have so far. Adding new members, pretty quick and easy. I click new, and it opens up this little form here, and I can enter the information. We got Ivan DeTerrible. Give him an email address, phone number. We've got this little thing. We can do customized list, of course, his favorite Star Wars movie, and I've entered in all the variables. He's a big fan of the Jedi have pink eye. I click save. Ivan now shows up as one of the board members here. We can export this information to Excel and download it to your desktop and manipulate it there. Now, this can be anything that you want, any data that you want to put up here. Right now, it's just board members. We can do a table like this for your assets and resources, all of your computers and technology equipment. We can do a list of all of your clients and customers. We can do a list of as big and as long as you want of any information and data that you want and store it up in this. The benefit to it being on the website is it'll show up as a data table on the website in any format that we want it to. So we can mask out some of this information. If we wanted to hide their phone number, that we could, but we still have the information. And this particular data table is also shareable to all other Office applications. So I can export this data to an Excel spreadsheet. I can open up a Word document and say, hey, get me data from this data table that I have in SharePoint on this SharePoint site, and it'll pull this data down from the internet and build it into your Word document. We can do a lot of stuff with this, having this data not as just a spreadsheet in the cloud, but as an actual data table on a SharePoint site. You do have a lot of tools and a lot of resources that you can, or a lot of neat things that you can do with this. So let's find a way to take advantage of this for you as well. If there's a way to use it, great. Let's use it. What else is there? Yeah, that's about it. So that's some of the things that you can do with SharePoint, some of the things that we should do with SharePoint. So let's find a way to make this work better for you. All right. Oh, one more thing. anyway, your credit card's about ready to expire. So you're going to need to update your credit card information, your payment information for your Office 365 account so you don't have an interruption in your service. There you go. I'll stop drinking.